Thanks for watching The Instant Reaction. For full episodes of the Cannon Podcast, sign up as a YouTube member on this channel or go to patreon.com/thecannonpod. Welcome back to The Instant Reaction. And Bhavs has showed up. Here we go. Arsenal 4, Newcastle 1. I think the word, Bhavs, is dominance. We've got a title race on our hands, mate.
We have got a title race on our hands, and fantastic. But I'm very annoyed, Alex.
What is
that? We conceded a goal, and that's just not allowed in football.
It is not allowed. It isn't allowed, and it was also to an ex-Arsenal player, which is even more criminal, apparently, for some reason. Not quite sure why. But should we have a look, Bhavs, at the most important start of the evening?
Oh,
Hasn't come out yet. No, it's not come out yet. It's not come out yet. We've got to wait. We've got to wait. We've got to wait. We've got to wait. 4-1. That first half was some of the best football I've ever seen us play. From a team that, let's not forget, is basically the same team, other than Jorginho, that started this last 4 games. The intensity and aggression that we showed in that first half, the professionalism, for the most part, that we showed in the second half to see it out. This is a title-ready team. I don't say we're going to win the title, but this is a team that I look at and I think that this team has every chance to go on and win the title. It's got the credentials to do it.
Yeah, it does. And, we go back to that game against Porto. I don't want to mention too much, but I must have put out a tweet saying that, look, bring them to the Emirates. And just almost the confidence to know we'll beat them there. And then watching that first half just gives me another reason why I'm so confident for us at the Emirates. Like, this Arsenal team is one of those where you see the pre-match stuff, the whole getting the fans into the ground early and the 2-for-1 beers and all that type of pre-match build-up. We've seen Arsenal do that before, but the team hasn't backed it on the pitch and it's kind of fallen apart. So Arsenal fans have the expectation of when we have this massive pre-match build-up that the team's going to let them down. But there's something about this team now where they can back the back, they can talk the talk and they can walk the walk. Yep. And you can see it in that first half performance. I mean, Newcastle are a team that are known for suffocating. They're known for pressing and that. And we completely outpressed them and suffocated them. And it's very much Jurgen Klopp-like, isn't it? And that Anfield type of thing where you go to the Emirates now and if we're on it, we're on it. And you're not going to have a sniff. 0 shots in the first half, 0 XG in the first half. It was domination. Yep.
And domination is absolutely the word. It's one of those games where everywhere you look, there's just stats coming up that are very impressive. Arsenal scored more goals from corners than any other team in the Premier League this season with 13. Saka is the first Arsenal player to score in 5 successive league appearances for the Gunners since Olivier Giroud in 2015. Saka scored 8 times in the last 7 Premier League outings. Arsenal have now scored the first team in Premier League history to score 2 or more goals in 7 halves in a row.
And you've also
crazy. And that's the most important thing.
Survival.
We're survival. That was the aim for this season, to make sure we were safe from relegation. But hey, listen, you got to ensure the safety. That first half, man. Let's talk about it because I think there's so many impressive parts to how we play. I want to pick up 4 things and 4 things I want to write a video actually about. The first thing is the counter press. I don't know if you watched Jesse Marsh on Marsh the New Belief. Jesse Marsh on Sky on Monday night. But he was talking about the net, and it's really sort of formulated an idea for me about the distances. So if you've got a team and the ball's over on this side, it's sort of, you get a sort of minimal and maximal width, and you can go watch it if you want to hear the full details. But essentially, the idea of you don't want to be too far in because then you expose yourself on this side, and you don't want to be too far out because then you can't actually counter press and you're not close enough to be able to do that. The distances we maintain at all times to be able to swarm immediately is so disciplined. The coaching that goes into that. I was watching during the game, and I was thinking any screenshot you could take right now, Arsenal are ready and in the right position to do anything. We could spring on you for a counter. We could get into you for a counter press. We can put some passes together because the attacking distances and the defensive distances as well. But when we're in possession and when we're out of possession, our ability to know where to stand it's so simple, but it underpins everything.
Yeah, it's so good. And I think the thing I love the most about it is the fact that the team is so confident in the system that they can go into any part of the pitch and press with confidence that it's going to be fine. There's someone behind me in perfect position, ready to pounce. And that gives you that sense of arrogance. And that's why I feel like an Arsenal press now, there's arrogance that we're going to win the ball back. Yep. And it's going to happen. And when you've got, Declan Rice playing as left number 8, crazy performance. I don't think people talk about it enough because how good Jorginho and Martinelli were, but that performance of just the second ball hoover, it is. But playing as a left number 8, I would have wondered how Xhaka would have been in that role. And I just see Rice physically as a next level in terms of able to win the ball back, pounce, and those lovely little interception tackles where he just jumps at the right time and
Yep.
jumps it like a gazelle. And that type of football and that type of player is what I love the most, because it's just so satisfying.
Yep.
And it's almost unfair at one point, the way he's so perfect at doing that tackle. And, you know, the left-hand side today was the way where I'm really impressed, because, you know, normally we talk about the right-hand side and Odegaard and Saka, but the left-hand side in that first half was where most of the stuff was coming from. And Kivior is really growing into that left-back role, more confidence on the ball. And there was that occasion right towards the end where I think Jacob Murphy runs the ball out, trying to take Kivior on. And I'm like, yo, there's no weakness on that side anymore. There's no other way, not Ben White. And I love that.
Yeah, it's huge. I think Kivior's been fantastic, and there was I like that moment. There was another moment where Kivior plays the ball over the top for Trossard, and Trossard arguably could have done better with it. Again, he's growing in confidence with his switches, with his passes over the top, with his stepping up and being an option sort of in possession when we're trying to sort of press them in their half. Yeah, he looked fantastic. Koyomi, thank you so much for the super chat. Smith Rowe's denied goal though. Yeah, unfortunate. We'll come to the substitutions. Lads, we're waiting for Scott Willis to drop the field tilt. I promise it will be.
He's making us wait on purpose.
He's making us wait. Yeah, so the counter press just extraordinary, and the intensity to do that, especially after the amount of games we played with that 11 and the amount of minutes those guys have played. That's so impressive to me in that first half, and I think why we sat off a little bit more in the second half is because you can't maintain that level. The second thing is the attacking patterns. Sometimes when we're stale, we look at those attacking patterns and we think, oh, I wish there was a bit more invention, a bit more individuality. But there was 2 moments this evening that just confirmed to me that this is the way to go, to coach those patterns, to get those patterns going in the final third. First is the goal for Havertz. Martinelli knows exactly that when he's in that position, there will be someone attacking the 6-yard box. He doesn't even look up.
It's
and
automatic.
That goal happens because of that. And there was another one, I don't know if you remember the one where Odegaard and Saka combine in the half space. Odegaard has a little back heel, because he knows the exact run Saka's going to make. These cooperative superiorities, I want to call them fancy words, you know, the players knowing each other and playing with one another and learning each other's movements is so impressive, and it makes us look so fluid. I loved Saka coming inside a lot more this evening, as well as Martinelli and Trossard and Havertz. Sorry, Trossard when he came on, and Havertz early on when he was floating around. I just thought he looked brilliant.
That Havertz role as a striker, I mean, the big games we played this year are starting up there. Newcastle, we smashed them. Liverpool, we beat them as well, and smashed them in my opinion. And, you know, of course, Man City, the Community Shield, and off the bench as well in the game of the Emirates. We've won some massive games with Havertz up front, and even that game in the FA Cup where I know he missed quite a lot of chances, but we should have won that game again if we were a bit more confident in front of goal. Havertz up front, he's not clinical. We saw this on to the second half, but he gives the team an element of chaos, and the way he's able to generate stuff for Arsenal, even just being in the presence, and he almost seems faster as a striker than when he's in midfield. The way he just drives past players and gets the ball back. There's something there. There's something to work off, and it's annoying because I'm like, if you had that one thing, that one little finish, and honestly, I wouldn't even think about Osimhen. I wouldn't think about, because you're so close. You're so close to exactly what I want. You can drop deeper. You're good defensively. You can press fantastically. You can cause any centre back issues. Just finish, bro. That's what I need.
That finish was a real shame. Just want to pick out something really quickly tactically. Something we did, I think, unbelievable. We've been doing well all season, but actually Porto didn't fall into this trap, but Newcastle did. So, excuse my very rudimentary tactics board, but I'm drawing this up on the spot. When we had the ball in these areas, what Newcastle didn't do very well, and Porto did do very well, is this is Longstaff and this is Bruno. They'd step forward, and then Havertz and Rice, ignore the numbers, Havertz, Rice, and Odegaard in these half spaces in here and just in the central areas were killing us. This baiting of the press and that time we spend here, it's not, I think sometimes people think, oh, you get it forward, it's wasted time. It's not wasted time. When the ball goes over here and Longstaff shifts a bit more, Bruno shifts a bit more, it's creating these massive gaps for Odegaard to come into. And I know that's not the right number for him, but Gabriel, some of these balls into Havertz, some of these balls into Odegaard, completely turns. And then we've got the 3v2s, we've got the 4v3s, all these situations. Once we get through that, I think their centre-backs were too scared to step up, essentially, and to close that gap, to lessen that space for Odegaard and Havertz and Rice to step into. But yeah, that was a massive feature of tonight's game and something we really exploited, which I was really, really happy with. I also want to shout out the relationship between Rice and Jorginho. Again, knowing when to drop, want to stay. Rice in a slightly freer role. I love it, mate. How do you feel like, to me, for these types of games, it feels like Jorginho, Rice, and Odegaard is the play with Havertz up top. Like we've spoken, I think, on the pod, on the main pod. Like, does Jesus come straight back into this team? I don't know. I'm not.
No,
he gets
no.
in our best 11, but does he come back in
course.
right now?
No, yeah, because we talk about in a big game as well. The reason why I think part of the reason why those Newcastle centre backs are so scared to push up is because Havertz is an issue in behind as well.
Yeah,
it's because he'll make that run and perfectly time it as well. And he's not an amazing finisher, but just that presence alone of being there. His movement against Liverpool, for example, makes a lovely run in behind, and he misses the chance. But he generates the chance of Saka. And so that element of chaos, that element of uncertainty is why teams, will respect us more with I think Havertz is more natural than Trossard as a 9 in terms of just the basics of causing defenders issues and hustling and bustling. And with that there, and as you said, the in-between line passings, I mean, that was fantastic today. Just seeing each and every time a play in the pocket and the pass goes in and the pass goes in. We were completely manipulating the Newcastle block. And Newcastle are a good team. They're not an awful side, by the way. Neither are West Ham. Burnley you could talk about, but Newcastle and West Ham are two top half teams that could fight for Europe, that are in Europe or were in Europe. And we've absolutely annihilated them. And I love it.
Yep. No, so good. Talk set pieces. Something I want to talk about.
I don't want to talk set pieces. Under the radar, because I'm scared. At one point, a real big like Real Madrid will go, this Donny here, Nicolas Jova,
yeah,
give him us, because there's no way with this good at set pieces without. We're going to see it now more and more as people start figuring out. As Arsenal fans, we know who Nicolas Jova is, but if you're a Chelsea fan, you're going, who's that guy over there?
Yeah,
but soon everyone will know.
Yeah, surely.
Keep it a secret. Keep it a secret.
It's like Pep Blinders. Like when Liverpool had a bit of success, everyone started to know who Pep Blinders was. And you see that core group of Stuyvenberg, Arteta, Cuesta, and Nico Jova. He's as important as these other guys. It's no longer. We're not now talking about these little fine margins. How many have we scored from set? I think it's 18 from set pieces now overall,
18,
not just
19,
13 from 13 from corners or something. It is getting to a point where you're right. Like, surely, and I don't want to jinx it, but in the summer, why wouldn't a Madrid or a Bayern or someone say, can we have him? Because this guy is working miracles.
And we took him from Man City, which is the funniest thing. We took him from, he wasn't at like a Brentford, with all due respect. He was at Man City. And we took him. And, we're seeing it now, all that coaching, we were good at set pieces for the last few years, but now we're really that team. We're really that team, and every set piece looks threatening. You rarely get a set piece that isn't causing some sort of issues, or you're not seeing the idea. Before it used to be just get the ball in there. Now it's specifically timed. This player runs forwards, gets the ball in a certain area and heads it onwards, and it always causes havoc. I mean, both of the goals, I know Kivio scored, but it could have been an own goal at the same time. They're both in the right area. That's what it is. And then just the right timing of run and the player, and even the role of Ben White just kind of standing in front of the goalkeeper to hold him off. The teams are starting to realize it's such minor details, and that's the fine margins that are helping Arsenal out. And we also can't underestimate how important set piece goals are. Talk about Arsenal not scoring enough from open play. That was a conversation before now, not as much now, but they're just important because you can score so many clutch goals. Say if you're running against the games against you and you're struggling to score from open play, set piece, boom. I actually go back to that goal against Crystal Palace where we've had come after the international break or the Dubai break, and we haven't scored for quite a few games. We scored the opening goal from set pieces, and everyone relaxes, and then the game opens up. You go back to when United won the Champions League in 1999. Where did the 2 goals come from? Set pieces. They are very clutch, very important.
They're not to be underestimated. I think it's a huge part of our arsenal. It's really important. It's really important. Have you got time to do individual chat?
I've got 3 minutes, lad. Give it. I'm doing a Martinelli cameo today. 60 minutes. Nice performance.
Babs has got a hot date. He won't tell me what it is, but he's got a hot date.
It's not a hot date. It's not a hot date.
It's a quarter past 10 at night. Let's go through individuals. I thought Raya was really good. I don't think he could have done anything about the goal. It's a really good header and it goes in off the post. I don't blame him for the goal. Really got it on the Almiron moment. I think Almiron would have been offside. Great, as always, claiming crosses. Really useful in the first phase in terms of being an option, as always, stepping out in a way that I'll be honest, I don't think Ramsdale could do as comfortably. Baiting the press is, it starts from the goalkeeper. Raya was, terrific.
It was fantastic, and I think looking at that performance as well, and the sweeping as you said, it's also that pass that would have gone through to Trossard. I'm like, just referee, if you're not in the way, that could have been an assist there. And I think he's doing those little things, those like the coming up, for example, and those little passes and giving our team more intensity. And the baiting of press, it's just confidence. Every time you feel like he's not got the ball under control, it's doing it on purpose almost to bait a team in and just knock it past them.
Yep. Ben White, I thought was great on the night. Really good. Dealt with Anthony Gordon really, really well. Really, really well. And he's one of those wingers who. Gordon, who you think, is he in that kind of Mitoma Rashford sort of, not saying quality wise, but pushing into those sort of areas of going, is he a problem for Ben White? And Ben White dealt with him perfectly, I thought, this evening. I almost, after the first sort of 10, 15 minutes, I almost said something on to a couple of mates, and I was like, no, I'm gonna wait. And actually, 60 minutes later, he got past him.
That was a Ben White performance.
Yeah.
Just Ben White, standard procedure, reliable.
He looks bigger. He looks like he's filled out a little bit.
Yep, he is. He's getting to that, I think, physical peak now. I think he's 25 maybe, or there and thereabouts. He's getting to this age now.
Bouncing off him more. They're just
he's strong. He's strong.
Yeah.
And I think he's also got a sense of control over his emotion, because you can see it sometimes. He wants to do that intrusive thought in his mind. You can see it's coming, and he just relaxes, calms down, and he does it at the fire. He's got the fine edge.
Yeah, for sure. Let's finish the defense before you go. Saliba.
Yes.
Saliba.
And I think that the area where he's playing, at times I'm pretty sure he was inverting, and White was dropping deeper. It was very fluid, and because of that the fact he can turn, he's so calm under pressure. It's something that we can look to. Him playing as maybe more inverted at times, and it'll talk about Mikel Arteta's fluidity, and it's total football. That's what it is. You go back to your Johan Cruyff's philosophy of players playing anywhere on the pitch. And we're seeing little aspects of it, with Havertz up front dropping deeper, Saliba playing sometimes as a right back, midfield dropping deeper. It's unpredictable. And if I'm seeing that, imagine the opposition, the managers. They're so stressed.
For sure, yeah. And I think, you're right to point that out. Saliba, I think, stepping in a little bit more in midfield is a massive area of improvement in his game. I think we'll be talking about that in 2-3 years' time as one of the key cogs in this team. Hopefully. Gabriel, at what point do we stop saying he's Saliba's mate and start saying this is one of the best defenders in the world?
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. I think he's always been under his shadow because of how good Saliba is, but he's been flawless all season, Gabriel. Flawless all season in terms of, I can't think of a single mistake he's made. And some of the clutch tackles he makes.
This evening, mate.
Yeah. I mean, the cutting the lines and playing the perfect pass and stuff. I don't know what it was post World Cup and what happened in his mind, but something flicked. He just evolved. He went almost fast forward 2 years in his development.
Yeah.
And that's what top characters are.
When he steps forward as well, and it's almost like beyond Rice at some points when he's stepping forward so soon, but he never gets it wrong anymore. He used to get it wrong. Do you remember that? There's a Southampton game, I think, in sort of COVID football time, where he got sent off and he just got it. He was in a walkout. He just got it so wrong. He never does that anymore. He's terrific. Finally, before you go, Jakub Kiwior, who I thought was terrific.
Yeah,
and growing.
He's growing so much, and I think it's just the thing of, initially I can see the defensive aspect, but now it's on the ball. Like in that corner, he gets pressurized and he just plays a lovely little pass. And we saw it in that pre-season, was it that little tournament where he was just pinging balls perfectly onto the targets. He's got elite technical ability.
Yeah.
But now we're starting to see it in the left back area, because it's not as easy to play as a fullback. If you played centre back all your life and you've come into this Arsenal side where the left back is Zinchenko and he's very comfortable on the ball, you can see Kiwior now has got that. He's oozing more confidence, and he's scoring goals as well. They're scoring goals.
I remember a couple of weeks ago, someone was like, because I shouted Kiwior out at the beginning of this season, and someone said, you need to admit you were wrong about Kiwior. I was like, no, mate, give him some time in the team, and you will see he is clearly a shy guy. So if you just give him a little bit of time, give him a little space, you can see his chest starts to puff out. He's trying passes. He's defending fantastic. There's been a couple of moments in the last few games where I thought Kiwior has been one of our best isolation defenders, and his passing is coming, and you'll see more and more and more. He'll start coming inside and overlapping more. You'll see it, mate.
Well. Yeah,
He's terrific. And crossing as well.
Do you know one thing I won't see though? No touch balls today. I'm out.
Because you're gone. He's gone.
I'm out. Peace out,
Bhavs.
people.
Bye-bye. Enjoy your day.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Absolutely no idea where he's going. Not a clue. Wouldn't tell me, which is quite exciting. I'll carry on with the individuals, and I'm going to take some questions. Thank you so much for all of you who are going to be here. Just me carrying the interaction again. Classic. Over 1,150 of you in here, so thank you so much. Please like and subscribe. I don't have the field tilt, and I'm not going to play touch balls, just to be clear. I'll play at the end. The field tilt is still not available from Scott Willis. We're going to have to go through and wait till the end. Let's do Declan Rice, who was terrific this evening. I said Declan Rice could anticipate and counter-press his own death. And I stand by that. I stand by that. That man, his ability to... It's like he's seen the game before, and I've said it before. It's like he's seen the game before. It's honestly, that guy is, he's special. How much would we pay for Rice? Knowing what we know now, if you could say what's like the maximum you would have paid. Now I've got Bavs, I'll ask you guys. Now the maximum. Now we know what he's done at Arsenal, what he's doing at Arsenal, let's say so far, before we get comments saying, oh, he's not done anything. What he's doing at Arsenal, the level of performance. Honestly, I'd have paid 150 million. I'd have paid, I think he is that good. He is that good. He is extraordinary, mate. He's unbelievable. Jorginho, I thought was actually a little bit sloppy. Sorry, Mr. Super Chat. Why? I'll come to this question at the end. Thank you so much, mate. I thought Jorginho was actually a little bit sloppy at the beginning, but then he massively sorted it out. Our ability, when Jorginho, I'm going to go back to the tactics board. Come on. What do I mean by that? So, when Jorginho is like right here, basically when we're in these positions, the ability to go back to Jorginho about here. Sorry, the numbers aren't quite right, but ignore the numbers. The ability to go back to Jorginho, who's got the passing range to play someone in here, who can play those sort of crosses, the sort of from the half spaces in here, can play that ball in there, can play that ball in there over the top. That was actually one of his specialities at Chelsea that I wish we've seen more at Arsenal. He's got the ability to play all sorts of passes. And when we've got under a little bit of pressure, maybe we got stuck out on the left-hand side, having that out ball to always go back here as the kind of hub of the team here to then get back out is so useful with Jorginho. I just think he's, honestly, I think he's extraordinary. Got cramp at the end because he hadn't played enough, and he's nearly 32. But I'd keep him for another season, 100%. I think until he's causing us problems. I think let's keep him in. I think he honestly, I would start him right now in this team. Ahead of Thomas Partey. And again, people say, well, what Thomas Partey gets in our team. Of course he does. But the thing is halves of football convince us that we need to rip up the entire project. Right now, next half, I would start Jorginho, and then we see something else, and something else might change. But I think right now, I'd stick with Jorginho personally. Odegaard was terrific. I still feel he's a little bit one-footed. That's my only criticism of Odegaard. He is a little bit one-footed, and it does frustrate me because he can take the ball, he can rotate it. He feels like but he's always taking it on his. When he's receiving it from Saka, he's always taking it on his back foot and going that way. And I don't mind it because he's so good at it and he can get those crosses into the half space. That pattern of Saka attracts 3-4 men, play it into Odegaard, and play in the half spaces and they're crossing the ball. The ball comes back to Odegaard. He takes it. We know what he's going to do. If he could play an immediate reverse pass straight into Saka or the slip ball down the channel off his right, it would really, or maybe that whipped ball, that De Bruyne ball from the half space where he whips it in off his right. We could have someone there, which is why I've been keen to see him on the other side. But I think I just think Odegaard is terrific. Saka, I was wrong. Look, the reason I said he wasn't world class is because I didn't want to put him in the same category as Salah and Mbappe. So I pushed them up and said Saka's world class and those guys are maybe somewhere else. But right now, he's not in there. He needs to achieve for another 2, 3, 4 more years before we even get close to those conversations. But right now, is he operating on an Mbappe Salah level? Absolutely. What's that? 7 goals in 6 games. That sample that's a Ronaldo sample. Do you know what I mean? Over 6 games. And I'm not saying he's gonna have Ronaldo's career. And I'm not saying, but do you know what I mean? It's honestly, that guy is incredible. Martinelli, he was possessed this evening, wasn't he? Absolutely possessed. Insane. I mean, the assist was fantastic. We mentioned at the beginning, those attacking patterns that they must practice over and over again in training work out so well because he doesn't even need to look up. He just knows someone will be attacking the 6-yard box and plays that pass. And I thought it was terrific. And yeah, Havertz we discussed as well. So I thought was really, really good. Thank you all for your support so far. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be answering some questions now. So please get your thoughts into the chat box below. Was that dandruff? Maybe. Please get your thoughts into the chat box and let me know what you think. But let me answer this. Thank you, Y, for your super chat. Does Nketiah lead this summer if we get it forward? I think, yeah. I was imagining, because I'm a loser, I was imagining how would Arteta strike that? How would he have that strike? How would he have that conversation with Nketiah this summer? And I think he can basically say, look, we have a number of different types of centre forwards. We have a Jesus type who's maybe a little bit more, let's say, active, drifty, false 90. We have a Havertz who can be a bit more up top and a bit more of a sort of lamppost centre forward, if you want to call that, and also running behind. And they can all do things to certain areas. They need a proper box presence. And I think they can say to Eddie, look, that's not who you are. It's not to spare his feelings, but it's not just that Eddie isn't at the quality level, which I agree with. He's not, to get the sort of the range of types of strikers that you need. Pep can go into if he has his whole squad available, he can go up and say, right, this team, I know there's going to be space in between the centre backs and their midfield. Let's say against Newcastle, so let's play with more of a false 9 player who can deal with that, right? Or this team are going to be camped in their box, so we need someone who's really dominant aerially. Okay, let's get Haaland in. Or there's going to be maybe a sort of I don't know. They really try and counter press, and I want to play on the counter attack. Okay, Julian Alvarez is perfect for that. You have various profiles that can do different things. And yeah, I just don't think Eddie is enough of a difference from the profiles that we currently can play there at the minute. So yeah, I think so. Shiam, thank you so much for your super chat, mate. Do we need to start Tomiyasu now or continue as it is? Again, what I would say. Here we go, boys. What I would say is I wouldn't change that team now because we've got a week. No, we've got over a week. We've got 9 days till our next game. Why change it? See what. But Sheffield are honestly. Can I swear on this channel? I'm going to get demonetized. They are a word rhyming with rank. They are honestly absolutely dog. So yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about that. And look, Jesus and Partey, we need them for the run-in. Don't rush them back. I love that he didn't bring Jesus on today. I'm a big fan of that. I think all too often we get people back in the matchday squad and they're playing 30 minutes straight away. Just let it happen. Let them be back in the matchday squad, do the warm-up, do the warm-down, let that get back into the body, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, build it up. Okay. The moment has arrived for 1,000 of us together to watch the moment of truth. Can you see that? Why can't you see? Oh. Samina mina, waka waka, field tilt is my drug. That is just beautiful to look at. It's just look at that first half. Look at that first half. Field tilt FC. We're unbelievable. We are unbelievable. Look at us. What's that then? What happened there? We only had 60% of the field tilt. Oh, look at this. That is, how long is that? That's a good 10 minutes. That's a good 8, 9 minutes. That's so funny. Mate, we're so good. Let's look at the other stats. 2.1 XG to 0.2 XG. The shot map there. Running XG there. Field tilt 75 to 24. 51 final third entries to 26. 4.7 expected threat created. 65 deep touches. 37 zone 14 touches. Newcastle's PPDA was 39.2. Can I just say, for a team who say intensity is our identity, they were shocking. They were absolutely shocking. They gave up. They absolutely gave up. Not having that, mate. What more can we say? Field Tilt FC. Let's do a couple more questions before we finish. Lads and ladies, it is honestly a pleasure sharing this journey with all of you. And thank you so much for being here. It is genuinely my favorite thing to do in my life. And just, isn't it nice? Do you all remember when Arsenal were terrible in about 2022, like 2020, 2021? I was fighting for my life in group chats with various people just in my life, just being like, no, trust me. And the fact that we are actually good now, is so nice. We're so sick. Every phase of play. Counter press, baiting the press, pressing the press, orange press, apple press, printing press. What do you want, mate? Oh, God. Arsenal Adventure. Imagine Joao Neves and Frankie de Jong is saying it. Yes to Frankie. I think that's a profile we don't have. I haven't watched Joao Neves, to be honest. I don't know. So I won't pretend I've watched him. I just went to a certain Arsenal stream and instantly regretted it. How do people still find time to hate on their players after such a game? They're not Arsenal fans. Milo Haynes, our performances like this of Bhavs is so good. I don't actually care if we win the league as long as we keep playing like this. The thing is we can have both. We will be able, like, if we play like that, we will win a league at some point. And lads and ladies, sorry, keep doing that. This is, with most of the team are like 24. Crazy. Do you think Rio regrets his position, but it's too stubborn to admit? He almost said world class. He sounded like he was going to cry on comms. Then he was like, "No, yeah, well, no, obviously, yeah, he's a good player, but no, just he's approaching it, but I'm not going back." Fozail Kadir says, "Are we buting Porto?" I think we are, mate. I think we are. Do we want a referendum on the team now after this performance? Probably not. Ape Warrior, does Jorginho's performance show why Zubimendi is being targeted? I think so for a longer term profile. You need that dictator position filled in your team. You need that sort of physical general, let's say, in a Declan Rice who can win those battles in that way. And you need a Jorginho. I love that battle. Personally, that's my favorite Arsenal midfield. Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard. I think Havertz, when he's up top, can do so much more. I'm not saying he's a striker, but he can do so much more of what he's best at. And I think he's almost more free. In the midfield, it feels like he's just keeping it very, very simple. But yeah, it's my favorite. Just the balance is perfect. You got the physicality, you got the creativity, you got the metronomic pace of it, you got transition control, you got everything, mate. Everything. Can we all agree Nketiah and Nelson being is very, very little off the bench? Bring is very little off the bench. Yeah, I can't lie. I've not been impressed with any of their cameos recently. It could be, arguably, it's because we've been winning games by so comfortably and we've looked so good that they're never going to hit those heights. But equally, have Reece or Eddie or Emil showed us anything? They're fantastic squad players, really, really great players, and I really like them. But yeah, arguably I think slowly all three of those will begin to be phased out of the project. I'm not in a rush to do so. Let's be clear. If they were the guys being left out of our matchday squad rather than Cedric or El Neni, that's the next stage up, right? But yeah, I thought Emil had a good cameo. To be fair, actually, maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. He had a nice run down the left hand side. And Masak Mera says, to be fair, they get like 10, 15 minutes of gameplay. But yeah, absolutely. Right. We'll finish there. Unbelievable, lads and ladies. Unbelievable. Oh, here we go. Why? Does our dynasty only start after Pep leaves? No. More than you believe.
Come on, Jamie. Yo, VIP. Let's kick it. Rice, baby. Rice, baby. All right, stop. Collaborate and listen. Rice is back with my brand new invention. Something got a hold of me tightly. Flow like a hot phone, daily and nightly. Will it never stop, yo? I don't know. Turn off the lights, yo. And I'll go to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal. Light up the stage and watch a light like a chapel. Yeah. Gonna resonate, killing that brain with the vigilance mushroom deadly. When I play it so dirty, anything less is the best, it's a felony. Stop it, I hate it, I better gain weight. You better hit the rules and keep no play. And if there was a problem, yo, I'll solve it. Pick out the right with my DJ was over. Rice, baby.
You don't like to touch balls? So I love it. So yeah, come. You don't like to touch balls? You don't like to touch balls? Touch balls? You don't like to 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 touch what? You don't like to touch what? So I love it, so I love it. So I love it, so I love it. So I love it, so I love it. The Korean guy and so I love it, so I love it. So I love it, so I love it. So I love it, so I love it. You don't like to touch what?